Not recommended to the employees of the investigative committee. How they have stolen voices during the elections in the Samara region the 18th of September 2016. Fifth film, The Cuckoos, District Krasnoarmeyski. Second episode. Hello. In the second part of our film, we will show you who needs all that and why. Who and why needs this legislative elected with use of such criminal mechanisms. Indeed, why the superior of the region needs such deputies, such controls of the expenses of the regional budget, whose first steps begin with odious falsifications, thieveries and additions of voices on electoral districts. And this, in some cases, thievery in such numbers that a normal person can hardly understand that. What does it mean to steal everything? That's a special kind of thievery. Such thieves are not even respected in their criminal environment. But in the political party of the United Russia, on the contrary, this is encouraged and people with such worldwide are promoted on the career ladder. Do you think that one day the problem of corruption and stealing of budget funds will be solved? Do you remember the cent shown on TV? As the Ministry of Justice counted, the corruption deprives Russia 20% of GDP. It's approximately 16 billion of rubles annually, which is comparable with 3 GDP of Belarus. How many infrastructure projects, residential areas, schools, medical centers and roads could be built? But not only for that, our president calls the corruption a threat to national security. Like a rust, it corrodes from inside a state mechanism and the public confidence. Look the results of the investigations of the revealed immovables of the Merkushkin family. Look at that. The stadium is not ready yet, the delays are serious, the problem with hoodwinked investors are not solved, but their palaces are ready. It is seen well. Karen regional elite lives there. Where do Alexei Merkushkin and the ex-minister of the Samara region Alexei Grishin get such money? How much do their families need to work to earn that money? 50 or 100 years or much? So we begin to guess why are such deputies, such controllers of budget funds are needed and whose interests they represent. Deputies who voted first to cancellation of privileges for retired persons and then review their resolutions in favor of the new governor. Look at Deputy Gutenev, elected to the State Duma, who works for several persons. In what favor does he push the buttons? Our objective is to reveal such necessary favorites. Superficial investigations of the videos from one electoral division takes 4 months, as that's only 2 deputies. That's why during a year we can show you outrage which takes place on electoral districts only concerning 6 deputies. I remind you that on electoral division 20, which we have been considering now, these are deputies of Samara Regional Duma, Maleva and Bodrova, deputy of the State Duma Serper, and the member of the Council of Federation Mamedov. Polling board 1625. Look how the United Russia took here 98%. Party Communist of Russia 1. Communist Party of Russia 18. Party of Growth FA Russia 3. Liberal Democrats 6. 79 in fact, 24 added, 103 in the protocol. Is that all? No, we are waiting for a call. Which one? From the Territorial Commission, that we can issue a report. Yes, yes. Wait for a call. If they say to redo, we will redo. And this call arrives with required data. So once more, second data, yes? And others? Too? They told us everybody. United Russia 107, Liberal Democrats 1, Communist Party of Russia 1. Okay, 2 more. And Malay 107. And the same concerning parties. And here the United Russia 107. Communist of Russia, Communist Party of Russia 2. The others zeros. Polling bot 1611. Here the United Russia have obtained 99%. Here are the communists. Liberal Democrats. And these are who? Empty bulletins. Empty ballots. Yes, I listen. Sure, sure. Nowhere. I know. Yes, I know. That's you whom I've just called. Okay. Okay, I understand. Only Serper. We need only Serper, yes? Right. 164 for Serper. Usov 1, Yermolenko 1, Krasnov 1, yes? Yes, will do. Serper, then Usov. Who is Usov? A Liberal Democrat. Okay, we need 1 for him. Right, Usov 1. Now pack it. Wait, don't pack! What? They've just called. Add 1 more. Here. Minimum twice during the counting of voting papers, necessary data about the results of voting have come to each polling board of the Krasnoarmeysk district. Polling board 1607. They have put voting papers from ballot boxes according to 4 types of elections. Then the layout on the candidates and parties will begin. Do you hear? Only layout without counting. We'll count later. And the women have put ballots on 6 piles, and we see that pile 1 contains 10 VP, pile 2 2, pile 3 27, pile 4 10, pile 5 20 voting papers. A chairman Gubereва. What have you done? I have told before I would do myself. Well, what is it? Now all on the new. We see that prevented and specially prepared members of the polling board have to lay our ballots at once under 99% for the United Russia. And the chairman Gubereва have put ballots again at 1 pile and has done herself a correct layout. It turned out 4 piles, 1 for Malayev, and in 3 hours it emerged only 4 ballots without 69 for 6 candidates. Compare the initial layout and the Gubarev's one. The same at PB 1627. Look, the main member of PB, not ready for such a branded layout, has begun the layout upon candidates at single-member electoral district. During 3 minutes, 4 piles have been formed. The chairman Kolesnikov, who saw that, have forbidden him to lead a layout. After that, a woman ready for this correct layout have put ballots with the result 99% for the United Russia. In total, instead 4 piles for different candidates, 1 pile have been formed for Serper with the result of 99%, another for the communist Krasnov with 1%. Polling Board 1626, Chairman Kartashov. Data at PB 1626 not prevented women members of the commission have formed 11 piles. The chairman Kartashov approached the tables and says, "What? Parties? Yes, we've put upon parties." Where's the United Russia? Wait, these ones? 2? No, these ones separately. No, are these our ballots? Yes. Do you see Communist Party? Here it is. Only one for the Communist Party and others for the United Russia. Then he leads himself a correct layout at 3 types of elections, where only 1 ballot is for an opposite party, the others for the United Russia.
Опять практически 100% результат партии власти.
The same at Polling Board 1612. During the layout upon candidates at single-member electoral district, they formed 7 piles for different candidates. Yes, Bushev 2, the others for Maleev, says a woman, member of the polling board. At this electoral district, instead of 7 candidates, only 2 have got voices. And the same everywhere. Polling Board 1619. A men have put ballots at 7 piles. You can see how many ballots there are in each pile. Nobody. At the final protocol there are no such numbers. Again, 98% for the United Russia and only 2% for the other parties. The same at Polling Board 1629. They've put their ballots upon candidates at single-member electoral district to the State Duma and had 7 piles. The same in the final protocol, there are no such numbers, and 98% for the United Russia. And now, you'll see very curious facts, which must be in a Guinness Book of World Records, its Russian edition. Look, Polling Board 1611, a chairman Butova have put herself ballots upon regional electoral district to the Samara Regional Duma and counted them 167 ballots only in 1 minute 12 seconds. We see for sure that she lays out and counts nothing, but only takes 1 ballot for the Communist Party, 1 for Liberal Democrats and all the rest for the United Russia. The record is worth the Book of Russian Records. 1 minute and 12 seconds and the layout upon parties to Samara Regional Duma is done.
По политическим партиям в Самарскую губернскую думу состоялись.
Nothing for the fair Russia, one for communists, one for liberal Democrats, everything for the United Russia. Frankly speaking, I was ready to pay myself to the registration of such an achievement. But in 2 days I was disappointed. It turned out that this was not a record. At polling board 1629, the chairman Chugurova has laid and counted ballots upon a single-member electoral district upon each candidate, 277 pieces at 16 seconds. Look, she counted 8 ballots for Dorkhova, the rest for Maleev. But 16 seconds not the speed record of layout and counting of ballots. I've revealed the real record in the Krasnoarmeysk district and even in all the Russia. At polling board 1616.
Настоящий рекорд скорости раскладки избирательных бюллетеней я обнаружил на УИК-1616. Председатель Подгорная.
In order to understand how much time is necessary to lay out and count 349 ballots, let's compare this polling board with the neighboring 1617.
С соседним УИК-1617, на котором такое же количество избирательных бюллетеней в урнах для голосования и одинаковое количество членов УИК, производящих раскладку и подсчет избирательных бюллетеней.
The chairman Podgornaya puts the table for layout and counting of votes specially out of the sight of the cameras. Such a boundless arrogance. They've put ballots from the portable box to 4 piles. Then raise the stationary ballot box and put ballots upon 4 kinds of election. Okay, we have 296 in the stationary box. That's right. 296 plus 53 is 349. Now let's distribute upon parties. The process of laying out upon parties begins when they put ballots from stationary boxes to piles.
Складываются в уже разложенные стопки избирательных бюллетеней из стационарных урн. Женщины переносят бюллетени из переносного ящика к избирательным бюллетеням из стационарной урны.
And the process of laying out and counting begins. Look how long it will take them. So... Right. So, 349 have voted. So, for Maleev 342. Wait, it's for Serper. As for parties, for the United Russia 342. 2. Then communists. Right 2. I congratulate you. Well done. Worked well. And on the neighbor polling board 1617, where the same quantity of the members, they will lay out and count the same number of ballots during 20 minutes more. Imagine how it is possible to lay out 1184 ballot paper and count upon each party at 7 seconds. That's interesting to know. Who will return to the state funds spent for this electoral campaign? Only video surveillance has costed 20 billions of rubles.
Избирательный участок, где наплевали на 20 миллиардов, затраченные на видеонаблюдение.
The same situation at polling bot 1623.
Председатель Порохова. То же самое
And on polling bot 1608.
Салмина. Кто же
Who
организовал?
has organized such a circus performance and who has ordered it?
Смеяться, конечно, нужно.
We can laugh, but I'd prefer to see the 18th of September 2016 the normal work of electoral commissions and not a circus show with clowns and illusionists.
Так кто же это?
Who is this clown who decides to cheer the whole world and count 1,184 voting papers in 7 seconds?
Поначалу мне казалось,
At first it seemed to me that the organizer of the circus show lives in our region.
но работа с
But the work of the investigators of the investigative committee on my statements, and that's the federal structure, insistently suggests that this clown stands higher.
некоторые материалы проверок
Some materials of checks on falsifications of voting results have been seen successfully by several investigators 5 times. The process of cancellations of their decisions and sending materials to the next additional investigation is repeated again and again.
смотрят,
They watch during a year videos from polling stations and don't see nor hear any falsifications.
как раз такая работа
And here is just such a work on investigations of the investigative committee will help us to identify this clown.
из наших
And even we won't tell you his name. You will understand who is from our films.
хочу напомнить одну историю.
I'll recall you a story on the elections of deputies of Samara Regional Duma of the 5th convocation from the 4 December 2011. At the Novokuybышevsk single mandate electoral district, it was Boris Lyakov from the Communist Party who won. But the Territorial Election Commission decides to recount voting papers of 4 electoral districts, 34, 42, 49 and 78. And after this recalculation, as they say, justice has triumphed.
Торжествовала справедливость.
Triumphed. And now the majority of voices was given to Yuri Shevtsov, the candidate of the United Russia.
Единая Россия Юрия Шевцова.
At that time there were no video cameras on polling stations.
Наблюдение.
And now we'll see what it is the recount of the ballots.
Избирательных бюллетеней.
Polling bot 1618.
Вот посмотрите.
Look, a woman member of the Electoral Commission has made a layout upon candidates at the single-member electoral district to the Samara Regional Duma. 6 piles for different candidates have been formed.
В момент раскладки можно
And already at the time of the layout, we can determine that pile 1 contains 9 VP, pile 2 9, pile 3 7, pile 4 8, pile 5 contains 2 voting papers.
она берет
She takes information sheet with the names of the candidates printed on it,
его ножницами на
cut it with scissors into little pieces of paper with the name of each candidate, and puts the sheets of the sorted piles of ballots given for these candidates. Then, recounting pile after pile, she packs the ballots and the top tags on the information piece of paper on which are written the name of the candidate and the number of voting papers given for him.
отданных за него избирательных бюллетеней.
A woman have counted ballots given for Maleev. It turned out 282.
282 штуки.
She takes the wrapping paper
Бумагу и
and
начинает
starts packing them.
эти 282 штуки избирательных бюллетеней.
A woman to the chairman of the commission, Vesin. Go and count.
И вот
And here's how we promised you to show begins the recount of voting papers given for the candidate Maleev.
Роберта Малеева.
Pile 1, 9 pieces. Pile 4, 9 pieces.
Теперь мы видим, что повторный пересчет
Now we see that the recount ended with the addition of the voting papers for the candidate Maleev and the reduction of them for other candidates. The Secretary of the Electoral Commission showing on the pile for Maleev. How much in this pile? The woman takes a packed pile of voting papers for the candidate Maleev, unpacks it and starts the second recalculation of ballots for the candidate Maleev. They aren't lazy, will simulate the counting of the entire pack. A woman takes 4 packed piles of ballots for different candidates. They are all opened, the ballots are taken, and almost everything are stacked in a pile of voting papers given for the candidate Maleev. Here you see she crushed completely a package emptied from ballot papers for one of the candidates and threw it in the garbage. Thus, one of the candidates during the second recalculation have lost all votes. Look here. Stolen ballots are put in the middle of the package given for Maleev. Here were 304 L's, says Vesin. 304. Look here, 7 plus 3 is 10, and 9 is 19, and 304. Okay, I write here 1, 2, 3 and cancelled. So we have 312. But even this third recalculation was not the last. According to the data of final protocols, we see that recalculations have been continued. And the next one took part in the Territorial Commission and not in the polling board, because they can't see any more recalculations from this electoral district. Here is an imposture, degradation, circus. I don't know how to call that. When with the same number of ballots, with ticks given by the electors, during the short period of time the voices for the necessary candidate seriously increased due to the voices given for other candidates.
При одном и том же количестве избирательных бюллетеней с неизменными знаками, проставленными в них избирателем напротив выбранного кандидата и политической партии, за небольшой промежуток времени на избирательном участке нужный кандидат вдруг серьезно прирастает голосами, отданными совсем за других кандидатов.
And now, we'll see videos from other polling boards, how members of these commissions reveal blank ballot papers and tick themselves for the necessary candidate. And the most disgusting is when the members of the election commission erase on the ballot the sign supplied by voters for the candidate and put themselves the tick next to the desired candidate.
В избирательном бюллетене стирают знаки, проставленные избирателем напротив выбранного кандидата, а потом сами проставляют эти же знаки напротив нужного кандидата и нужной политической партии.
Polling board 1621. A woman member of the PAC in the layout of the voting papers upon candidate at a single mandate electoral district to the Samara Regional Duma selected 7 ballots without any marks in front of the candidates. So these are bad ones? No, here are the spoiled, and these are blank. Blank and spoiled, they must be the same. Look, there are 7 blank papers. Maybe I right? Yes, yes, says the chairman Turupova. So the papers for a desired candidate are ticked. The same at polling board 1610. The same at polling board 1613.
Женщина находит один чистый избирательный бюллетень и за избирателя ставит в нем отметку. И бюллетень остается в стопке избирательных бюллетеней, отданных за политическую партию «Единая Россия».
The same at polling board 1609. We can't see the precise number of ticked papers, but we can see some of them. Polling board 1629. Look how they erase in the ballots ticks given by the voters and put their ones. And then put them nearby, and then these ballots come probably to the pile given for a political party, the United Russia. It's the wildness. How about the most honest elections? This video should have been seen by Ella Pamfilova for sure. And the investigations of the investigative committee, as always, see nothing. I want to remind to some representatives about the first article of the Constitution. The recognition, observance and protection of human and civil rights and freedoms is the duty of the state. Free and fair elections are the responsibility of the state. How much longer are you going to wipe your feet on the Constitution? And the re-election of the law enforcement system is very strange. Maybe you wait until the March elections, presidential ones, be organized in the right manner, and then it will come down itself? You are mistaken. Putting it mildly, it's a very strange approach. Well, we move to the end of the second episode of our film The Cuckoos. Now we begin to lay out on parties. Have spread out ballot papers on 10 piles for different political parties to the State Duma. Invalid 2, in protocol 0. The United Russia 148, 180, 91 in protocol. Communist of Russia 6 in protocol 0. Apple 1, Party of Growth 2, The Greens 1, The Fair Russia 3, Civic Platform 3, etc. A call from the administration of the district. Yes? Oh, tell to Pozdnikov. What percent should it be? Who is that? Anton? No, we have fulfilled the protocol. 15 piles. Excuse me, unpack. Vadim, I say, we need to clean up somebody this way. No. Why would you need 98%? It should be taken somewhere. You couldn't say sooner? I wouldn't count so much. Yes, I understand. The United Russia must contain 98 in the protocol. Yes. Serper 98 too? And the others obtain zeros? Short. We have 199 people voted. From them 98%. Have to vote for the United Russia, right? From them 98 must vote for a fair Russia, right? And 2% to whom? And these ones give them zeros? $195 persons have voted. One for communist, one for the Apple, and one for the Communist of Russia. What? This way it is not necessary to lay ballots? Vasily says don't count them, and we count. And how we lay them? They are ticked. Nobody will count them, the answer to him. Ah, well, I understood. Then that's for fair Russia. I add these ballots that it become 98%. United Russia, they correct Alexander. Well, yes. After finished a telephone conversation, Pozdnyakov says to the commissioners, "Wait a minute, do not suffer. Girls, do not suffer. They should not be expended. Why didn't you tell us in time?" Well, a madhouse. We shouldn't have done it. We shouldn't have counted it. A woman observer says, "How is it so? The people voted, and then you cheated? I won't go to the elections no more. It's serious. I say it's not a choice, it's a shit," says the chairman Pozdnyakov. In the first episode of this film, we asked the former vice-governor Ovchinnikov, responsible at the Samara region for this past electoral campaign, the questions posed by the chairman of the PEC. What are these elections? Why have we come here to vote? Why have we come here? Without having an answer of the vice-governor, the other chairman of the neighbor PEC answered them. This is not an election. This is a shit. Half an hour after, the chairman of the PEC have received indications from the administration that there is no need to count and spread the ballots. Pozdnyakov wanted to guarantee that such boundless arrogance, a nasty slap in the constitution and therefore its guarantor, while video and audio cameras recorded everything, will get away with it to all of them. Pozdnyakov calls to administration and says, "Yes, I wanted to ask, won't they take our arrest for that? Yeah? No?" Alex, what S? How the S can take itself the S? We are going to make some films about police officers, what they were doing at polling stations, and the investigative committee, about repeated inspections of the same materials. Alex, our investigative committee can't distinguish 86 ballots from 2. It's not for nothing that we've showed in the beginning of our film that it is not recommended to the members of the investigative committee. I have a few polling stations in Leninsky district of Samara, where the ballots, how required by the administration, without any calculations, were packed into bags for storage. So, Alex, you're just a little cog in this scam system, where each structure has its own task. And everyone knows it. And our task, with Mikhail Matveyev, is to show on real examples the entire circus and its clowns. Now probably it isn't necessary to explain to anybody for what such deputies elected in this way and also other regulatory state bodies are necessary. Simply, in Russia not billions, but trillions of rubles are annually stolen.
Россию до 20% ВВП. Это примерно 16 триллионов рублей ежегодно.
Let's be sincere, that it is simply impossible to steal hundreds of millions or several billions of budget money without the acquiescence of the law enforcement system. Now, let's see how this system works in our case. I submit an application for initiation of criminal proceedings to the Investigative Committee of Russia in Samara region based on most of the scenes shown in the second episode of our film The Cuckoos. After reviewing these applications, the Investigative Committee forwarded them to the Regional Electoral Commission and answers me that the elements of a crime are not detected. You see how delicate, not the crime, but even the elements were not detected. That's why I want to address the chairman of the Investigative Committee of Russia, Bastrykin, and the Prosecutor General of the Russian Federation, Chaika. Do your department, as the chairman of PEC Pozdnyakov has told, Take the S of such crooks from polling stations of Leninsky, Samarsky, Kuybышevsky districts of Samara and the Krasnoarmeyski district of Samara region, or not?
И Красноармейского района Самарской области за попу или нет? Ответьте, пожалуйста.
Give your answer, please. The ideologist of the Cold War, Alan Dulles. We will insensibly contribute to tyranny and unprincipledness. All that will flourish in a lush color. The cult of money will blossom. Why? Not much will guess. And those who will guess, we will slander them. We'll do so that nobody listens to them. The Cuckoos, the Krasnoarmeyski district. To be continued.